When you hear the phrase financial independence, it's easy to get a little overwhelmed, right? It sounds like this huge, intimidating mountain to climb. But what if we looked at it in a totally different way? Not as some impossible money goal, but as a journey of personal growth. A way to become more disciplined, more patient, and way more intentional about the life you want to live. Okay, let's dive in.
So here's our game plan. We're going to walk through 4 stages together. First, we'll start by understanding the game. That's all about our mindset. Then, we'll build a super solid foundation. After that, we'll get into the exciting part, activating growth. And finally, the most important piece, defining what your actual goal is. The whole idea here is to swap that feeling of anxiety for some real, actionable clarity.
All right, first things first. And you might be surprised to hear this, but step 1 has absolutely nothing to do with spreadsheets or fancy investments. Nope, it's all about what's going on up here in your head. Before we can change a single number, we have to get honest about our relationship with money.
I love this slide because it gets right to the heart of a huge misunderstanding. The myth is that it's all about escaping, quitting your job, moving to a beach, and doing nothing forever. But that fantasy is actually kind of paralyzing. The reality, it's so much more powerful. It's about having choices. It's about building a life that can handle a few bumps in the road. It's about making sure your money is actually serving the life you want to live. It's about gaining the power to shape your life, not escape from it.
Look, we don't get stuck because we don't have enough information. We get stuck because of these mental traps. We all fall into them. There's that lure of instant gratification, that little treat now that costs you big freedom later. Then there's the classic lifestyle inflation. You get a raise and suddenly your spending magically rises to meet it and you're no better off. Of course, there's the comparison game, keeping up with the Joneses. And a big one, the fear of investing, letting the worry about losing money stop you from ever even starting. The goal isn't to be perfect, just to start noticing when you're doing this stuff.
Okay, so with our mindset starting to shift, it's time to get practical. Think about it. You would never try to build a huge skyscraper on a shaky, cracked foundation, right? Well, your finances work the exact same way. Before we can even dream about growth, we have to build a rock-solid base of stability and security.
And this quote right here, this is everything. This is the real starting line. The whole journey has to begin with some radical honesty. No more guessing what you spend, no more of avoiding looking at your bank account. It's time to look at the cold, hard numbers. Not to judge yourself, but just to know where you are. That's it.
So here's your action plan, and I want you to think of these as empowering missions, not chores. Mission 1, the financial diagnosis. Just get the facts. What comes in, what goes out. That clarity is pure power. Mission 2, build your shield. That's your emergency fund. This isn't just money in the bank, it's psychological breathing room. It's what lets you make good decisions when things go wrong. And Mission 3, break the chains of high-interest debt. Every single payment you make is you reclaiming a piece of your freedom.
Now, when it comes to getting out of debt, you've basically got 2 popular playbooks. There's the snowball method, where you pay off your smallest debts first. This is all about psychology. You get these quick wins and it builds momentum. Then there's the avalanche method, where you tackle the debt with the highest interest rate first. Mathematically, this one will save you the most money. But you know what? Neither one is right or wrong. The best one is the one you'll actually stick with. Just pick one and start. That's what really matters.
Okay, foundation's in place. You're stable. Now for the fun part. This is where we shift from playing defense to playing offense. It's time to talk about how we can get your money to start working for you so you don't have to work so hard for it.
This right here, this concept, is the engine of all long-term wealth. Albert Einstein supposedly called it the 8th wonder of the world, and for good reason. Compounding is the magic that happens when your money starts earning money, and then that new money starts earning even more money. It's the ultimate reward for just being patient.
And just look at this chart. It tells the whole story. In the beginning, the first few years, progress feels painfully slow. And this is where most people give up. But if you can just stick with it, you start to see things pick up around year 10. And then by year 30, the growth is just explosive. It's a get wealthy slowly system, not a get rich quick scheme.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? It's that the biggest rewards in finance don't necessarily go to the smartest person in the room or the luckiest. They go to the most patient. The person who can keep going when the progress feels invisible. That's the person who wins in the end.
But let's be real, how do you guarantee you'll be patient and consistent? Well, you kind of cheat. You build a system that doesn't depend on your willpower or how motivated you feel on any given Tuesday. Automating your savings and investments is probably the smartest financial move you can make. It's not being lazy, it's being strategic. It's designing a system where your best intentions always win.
So we've built the foundation. We've started the engine of growth. But why? What is it all for? And that brings us to the most important and maybe the deepest part of this whole journey, figuring out where we're actually going. Because without a destination, we're just running on a treadmill. This right here, this is the question. And I want you to really let that sink in for a second. What does enough actually mean to you? Because without an answer, you're just trapped in that comparison game forever, always chasing more. What does a truly rich life look like for you?
Because when you finally define enough for yourself, you're not just running on that treadmill anymore. You get to stop chasing a moving target. Instead, you get to build a financial plan that's actually connected to your real values. Things like more time, more freedom, more peace of mind. Your financial plan suddenly has a soul.
And that's really what this is all about, isn't it? This journey, it isn't just about piling up a bunch of money. The process itself forces you to become a more responsible, more forward-thinking, and more intentional person. It's basically a masterclass in how to be a more effective adult.
So I know this can feel like a ton of information, but if you walk away with anything today, let it be this simple 4-part framework. First, you create awareness. Just know your numbers. Second, you build stability. That's your emergency fund and paying down debt. Third, you create growth through investing. And last and most importantly, you define your destination. You figure out your enough. You don't have to do it all at once. Just start. The real wealth you'll find is in the journey itself.